I don't think her safety will be prejudiced if her audio is transmitted, my lord. And with respect to her personal safety, she says she's a well-known personality and people will have a particular perception of her evidence.
This broadcast, the audio broadcast of what is happening here at court, should be shut down. Would negatively have, would have a negative effect on those at home that are following these proceedings. Her excuses now that whatever that she would come and testify about a court here should not be made known to the public members. If she advances that reason on the basis of her being part of that Netflix film, then those reasons, my lord, are dead and buried.
The interests of the society as well as the interests of the media must be weighed vis-a-vis the interests of this one individual.
I myself, as the defense counsel for accused number 5, had been posted on Instagram and all social medias by the same witness, my lord. So I am saying, my lord, if we were to consider the personal safety of this witness in isolation, what about the personal safety of other people, including myself?
Senzo Meyiwa trial. Let us have a conversation. Well, I know you've been all waiting to get to see what will be my point of view on this one. I know you are so desperate to get to know the truth of what had really happened to this famous soccer player Senzo Meyiwa, because we're talking about a justice denial for almost 1 decade, that some families are out there waiting to see the justice. A nation waiting to get to see or to know who had killed the Senzo Meyiwa. After 9 years, we still get to experience drama after drama inside the Pretoria High Court. So we're going to have a conversation because we need to discuss about this. It is very important that we get to understand where were we yesterday and where we are today, because you guys will get to see what happened inside the Pretoria High Court today. And I'm afraid to say that if things continue in this way, as I had told you last year, this case, from the time when Senzo was killed, you can give a birth to a child, this child will grow up, they'll get to know who was a Senzo Meyiwa. Perhaps they might even end up also getting married or finishing up their matrix, all because the trial is taking forever. And when we keep on waiting to see what will happen next, all we get to see, it is surprise after surprise. We get to see a lot of things from some of the high witnesses who were in that house, contradicting each other. Okay? And we get to hear a lot of rumors that who did what, who said what. And whenever the journalists, they were given that opportunity to ask questions to some of these individuals, and here guys, I'm talking about people who were in that house. These people, whenever they were being asked this question to know what are their point of view on what is being said so far about them, whether it is in social media, whether it is about other eyewitnesses who were in that house, when they were being asked a question to know what would be their point of view, obviously we get to see that they were so desperate to be called inside the court. Kelly Khumalo herself said it several times that I can't wait for my day inside the court, because she believed that is the day she will speak the truth. She believed that is the day she will clean a name from everyone actually. Now, after promising these words, after saying all this, how come today, after finishing with the witness whom we had last week, Tokozis Twala, they are telling us that no, the eyewitness, or should I say the witness who want to testify today, she, not he, but she, don't want to be seen by the camera. She don't want live, so which means she don't want anything than what you guys have been watching on your small screens. For what reasons? What made her become that special than other witnesses who have passed inside that court? Listen what they had given as the reasons.
Put in summary what the witness request for as I test with through you my understanding. My understanding is that this is a witness that is vital for purposes of these proceedings, and it is a witness that is coming unlike other witnesses who may come here by virtue of the nature of their job, like people who do forensics, people who deal with crime scenes and then formulate whatever is necessary, be it sketches or whatever. This is a witness who is to give an account of what took place on the day of the incident, and she comes as a lay person.
Indeed, my lord.
That's number one. Number two, you are saying that this witness is not objecting to the presence of journalists in the courtroom. In other words, she's still open to the feature of an open court.
Indeed, my lord.
Just as in the same way as any other court and as any other case, which is not this one, is proceeding all over the country today as we speak.
Precisely, my lord. Without the glare of the cameras.
Yeah, and what she requests is that the cameras should not beam into her space as she testifies and transmit out into whatever coverage all that she will be doing and saying as she testifies.
Indeed, my lord, and she's indicated that she's got no objection if she walks in the corridor or in the street and you know, her photo is taken. She doesn't have a problem with that. It's only, my lord, as soon as she steps in the witness stand, she requests that she be afforded that privacy, my lord.
Yeah.
These reasons were that surprise to everyone, just as you are seeing it for yourself, including even the judge himself. He could not understand, like, why we trying to rush time to finish with this court, and the next things we get to see all this. And the judge, he have to come and try to summarize some of these reasons, what the state advocate George Baloyi had said to Judge Maumela. And then judge have to come and try to put everything like, okay, so you mean to say 1, 2, 3, 4.
And then the aspect of her face being broadcast as she testifies. That's the part that I find difficult to understand, in the sense that you are saying at the same time she's a public figure.
Indeed, my lord, she is a public figure, but she's coming to...
Meaning that her face is already out there.
Yes. No, it's not about the fact that her face may not be shown. As I've indicated, she doesn't have a problem if she walks in the corridor or in the street and a photo of her is taken, but she's requesting that as soon as she steps in the witness box and begins to testify, that there should be no cameras or no live recording of her evidence.
According to my own understanding, if I pay attention to what this witness request from this court earlier on this morning, she's saying that she's a public figure. She does perform live. She does perform live. And yet, she don't want to be televised or to be broadcast live inside the court. Guys, come to think of it, does it make sense according to you? Tell me, maybe I'm getting this wrong. You are someone just like me. You can get to see me, and the next tomorrow I'm like, no, I don't want to be seen in the camera. Does it make sense? Because everyone, they know you already. And the moment when she requested this, everyone who were watching our live on, everyone who were inside that court, they end up realizing who was this lady, who was this person. Because the state advocate make it very clear, saying that she is a public figure. She performs lives in different events. And we all know who's that person. Because Senzo Meyiwa, he was dating a celebrity, which is Kelly Kumalo. And we all know that Kelly Kumalo, she's the one who's a public figure in terms of like performing lives. She's a singer. We all know that she's our celebrity. Yes, you will tell me that what about a sister? Yes, a sister, she came after. She came after. But why we have to get to this point? So, when you listen to Judge Maumela, he even have to ask a question. How possible is it that this person you're telling me about, she's a public figure, which means her face is out there. Everyone knows her. What is that so strange that she is not allowed to be seen on the camera?
So she is saying whatever goes along with her testimony, language, choice of words, demeanor, and everything should still be open or available for purposes of the open court, but be limited, not to go beyond the courtroom as she testifies, so that it will only be there for viewing by those who are available inside the courtroom.
No, she's indicated that she's got no objection if the journalists sit in the...
That's what I'm saying.
Yes, in the gallery, and they just report in the normal way, like any other case, my lord, that she's got no problems with, my lord.
So what happened is that these questions had given a chance to the defending advocates for them to come forward and give their point of view about these matters that the state advocate has raised inside the court. And the first advocate who came, he came up with this very interesting question to get to know that this is not the first time this matter is happening inside the court. We have seen this problem. We have discussed about it, whereby we even come to the point of reaching out to say that witnesses who are on stand, they should not be televised. Instead, they can only be allowed to give their audios, which means the media, they must not show live, but they can at least take their words so that everyone who's out there, they can be able to hear or to know what is happening in this court. Unfortunately, today it looked like it was something very different. So this advocate had to ask the question to know, why should we not have audio? You guys, you have the refuse for virtual. So why do you want us to even abandon everything to the point that this live or this court should not be broadcast anymore?
Firstly, my lord, by my understanding, she raises the personal safety objection, and secondly, she says there'll be pressure on her when she testifies if the matter is broadcast live, either visual or audio. Now, my lord, the two previous witnesses, although I was not here during Tumelo Madala's testimony, my belief is that all of them testified without visuals. Only the audio was transmitted, and I don't think her safety will be prejudiced if her audio is transmitted, my lord. And with respect to her personal safety, she says she's a well-known personality and people will have a particular perception of her evidence. The rigor of this trial, my lord, is that everybody that testifies here is under scrutiny. The public will have their own opinion in the public court's opinion. It doesn't matter what happens out there. What matters is her story, her credibility in this court, not out there in the public, my lord. Now, with respect to the second reason, the pressure on her, she then says if she's forced to testify when there's audio or audio visual, then she won't testify, my lord. My lord, we're not going to be held ransom by a witness, my lord. She's a compellable...
Well, that's not even worthy of a debate. I mean, the question is whether she's a compellable witness or not.
Indeed so, my lord. I was coming to that. Indeed
so. I mean, she will make a decision.
Indeed so, my lord.
And the law shall apply to her decision. And that's it.
And my lord, those two reasons that she has raised that I've alluded to, there may be more. We must judge them by also what my learned colleague Advocate Baloyi spoke about. That is the quorum in court, federal rights, and the interest of justice. How her testifying, say for example, we agree on audio only, how is that going to prejudice the quorum in court? And what federal rights are going to be affected by the audio being broadcast out there, man? I'm asking
if you listened to Advocate Baloyi, because Zandile Kumalo has not yet testified.
Indeed, so my lord.
I seemed to read more consents out of her face being beamed.
Indeed.
Whilst she's testifying. The fact that she does not object to the media being present in court, and she puts no condition to the media being in court. I may not be exact, but it tells me that in terms of the audio side of it, she is not as emphatic as she is with the visual side of it.
My lord, my reading is different unless Advocate Baloyi can clarify. I am of the belief that she says no audio and no visual. They can tweet, the journalist that is they can tweet whatever they tweet. I don't know how they do their work, my lord. But she says adamantly that no audio or no visuals. That's my reading of what I heard from Advocate Baloyi, my lord. Mr. Baloyi concurs, my lord. That's the position, that no audio, no visuals. So coming to a solution, my lord, for the sake of brevity and moving on with the day, my learned colleagues will address, but I think that we should proceed interimly, because the media is waiting for their lawyer, on an audio basis only. Otherwise, this day is going to be wasted if we wait for the media, my lord.
His question remains, why didn't she want to be televised? Because before her, there were people. And this matter was discussed. And he had to put all these things to the table because he knows very well that if this continues like this, which means the remains of the witness, they will never going to show up inside that court if there will be cameras. Now, guys, another lawyer, or should I say advocate, who came after them, he had to raise up the point about the family of accused number 3 that is being informed that his family, they can't make it to be here. Remember, everyone first of all have the right to attend any case or any court case of anyone who seem to be their loved ones. So no matter how small that place can be, everyone have the right. If you feel like, okay, I'm going to attend this court case, you are allowed to be in. But just because the place might be too small, sometimes they can get to say that, okay, this case can be on TV, can be on camera, so that it can facilitate everyone to attend the court or to hear what is happening inside the court. And in this case of Senzo Meyiwa, the family of this accused number 3, and come to think of it, almost all of them, including the deceased, their families, they are back home at KwaZulu-Natal. They're supposed to be inside that court, but remember, this is Joburg. When you come, you'll need to find your own accommodation. You'll need to organize your own transport from home. And you'll need to organize also some transport which will be taking you, which will be driving you around. So these people coming over, it is very costly for them. And no one can pay for them. And thanks to this court being on TV, thanks to this court being on camera, it has facilitated them to be able at least to know what is happening. And here comes someone who believe or who think that they're so special to have a certain treatment which is different from other people. Very soon I will tell you why we have reached to this point. And this person, they're kind of like imposing their conditions in order for them to testify about what had happened in that house at that day. And like putting their conditions there and expect the law, the court, to follow it up. So this advocate who was representing the accused number 3, he says that the family of this accused, they're supposed to be here, but they can't make it.
My Lord, accused number 3 is informing me that he's got a family down there at KwaZulu-Natal who would have loved to be part of these proceedings. However, due to circumstances beyond their control, financially based, they are unable to be part of the proceedings live here. He's got a mother, he's got sisters and brothers who would have loved to be here. Therefore, an order that this broadcast, the audio broadcast of what is happening here at court, should be shut down would negatively have, would have a negative effect on those at home that are following these proceedings. He says it is in the interest of justice that those that are at home at KZN, KwaZulu-Natal, they should be afforded the opportunity to follow these proceedings. When he said that to me, my Lord, it immediately comes to my mind as well that the deceased as well, he's got family members that are also coming from KwaZulu-Natal. He's been a star all over the show. The team that has been playing for the Orlando Pirates, followers of the team, my Lord, they want to know what is happening in this trial every step of the way. An order, therefore, my Lord, that says there should not be an audio-visual, not visual. An order, therefore, that says there should not be an audio broadcast of these proceedings will infringe upon their rights on the freedom of speech. My Lord, the authorities that my colleague has referred to this court to are simply saying that there should be a balance between what is in the interest of justice and what is not in the interest of justice. But imperatively, he read to this court a portion that says the court should always be loath in deciding on what it is in the interest of justice on the basis of only what one person says. I will not go into details about what my colleague has said about the reasons that she gave. Indeed, they are very flimsy. They are neither here nor there, my lord.
He even went far to talk about the Netflix series. You all know about this Netflix series. You all know how much of money that Netflix had proposed to Kelly Kumalo. Do you guys still remember last year? We made a video about this. The millions of rents that it was proposed to them, and apparently she had signed for it. Now, surprisingly, inside this court, we're all being told that she went on and give a point of view or get filmed by Netflix. And as you all know that Netflix, when it comes to this Senzo Meyiwa case, they are not making a movie. They are making a story, or should I say a series. So therefore, I believe they're still recruiting all the necessary informations or people who are supposed to participate in this Netflix series. And these people, they have this part of Netflix. Have listened to what the lawyer continued to say.
But another aspect that also came into my mind, I think in the testimony of Mr. Madlala, there was a Netflix thing. I don't know what is that. But what it is in my mind is that there was a film. Apparently, he was invited to come and participate in the film and everything. What immediately comes into my mind, my lord? I'm actually asking myself, because I'm not privy to what was said in the trial, though I've got records. Well, I requested records and I did not get them. I'm just asking myself if the very same witness was not part of that film as well. If she was, then the reasons for not testifying through the audio here are dead and buried. But in
I don't know whether you can take it that way, because you can at the same time say lessons out of that to automatically mean that she should be compelled to participate in that fashion now, because it could also be said that lessons out of previous participation have led her to the position she is at now.
That will be the court's interpretation, but I've got a different interpretation, and mine is.
Yes, I'm saying the fact that she has participated before cannot lead to one conclusion.
Yes, my lord.
Only that then she is able and ready and must be compelled to participate now because she has done so in the past.
No, I'm not saying, my lord, that she should be compelled to participate. The court has already alluded to that point, that we don't even need to mention it because it's just a compellable witness. But what I'm saying is, for the fact that if she was part of that Netflix film, then I'm saying her excuses now that whatever that she would come and testify about her court here should not be made known to the public members. If she advances that reason on the basis of her being part of that Netflix film, then those reasons, my lord, are dead and buried. They are neither here.
Okay, guys. Just for a reminder, before this lady get to appear inside the court, before she get to come and request all these things that we get to see today, there were some witnesses who had appeared inside the court. Whether they are directly involved in all these murder case of Senzo Meyiwa or not, but we have some witnesses so far who had appeared inside that court. And we had this debate before. We have people such as Thabo Mosia, and this followed by this other surgeon, I forgot the name. We have Tumelo Madlala, who appear inside that court. We have the one who was there last week, Mtokozi Stwala. He also appeared there. They all follow the same procedure because that is how it was agreed that their face should not be shown, but at least their audio. This was just to facilitate people, like the one I say, who are back home, and those one who are interested in this case who want to know the truth about what had really happened to Senzo Meyiwa. But unfortunately, today we have to come and see things in a different ways. So this same advocate end up insisting, saying that why the two witnesses who were there before, such as Tumelo Matlala and Togoziz Twala, why did them not also request for the same thing? Why is she feeling that what she will say inside this court, it will be more different to what other people have said if it is the same story that took place or that happened when all of you were in that house? Another lawyer who came through, and he said something that really come to my attention at that particular moment. He had to remind the court that everyone have the right to what is happening inside the court. And he even went far to read an article that give the people the right for a public process. Because if we all want to go now that they are asking to stop broadcasting this court, which means that room, that court will be full of people now, because all of us, including myself, I would have to go and see for myself what is being said inside that court. So this advocate said something very important, which I'm inviting you to watch.
Reported at 2002 Volume 5 SA 401 CC. Stress the following with regards to the role played by the media, and I quote, "The print, broadcast, and electronic media have a particular role in the protection of freedom of expression in our society. Every citizen has the right to freedom of the press and the media, and the right to receive information and ideas. The media are key agents in ensuring that these aspects of the right to freedom of information are respected." Close quotation. My Lord, I'll also concur with my colleague, Advocate Mnisi, that the evidence of Madala and Twala has been broadcast by voice feeds. It cannot be held, my Lord, at ransom by the application of one individual. The interests of the society as well as the interests of the media must be weighed vis-a-vis the interests of this one individual. It is my submission, my Lord, that the application is baseless, it has no basis, and it tends to be dismissed.
That makes sense. That makes sense. Even the person who had the request for this thing, I can call it these things because for me it does not make sense. I believe they were just kind of like trying to see the level of the water, whether the water is too deep or not. Because you can't ask for something like this when you know that it does not make sense, and this will bring another problem, because right now everything's stopped. We are being delayed. Something that today maybe they're supposed to be finishing with so-called this witness, so that tomorrow they can start questioning her or crossing examinations. Now everything have to stop, all because someone have to come and tell people how they want to be interviewed inside the court. Guys, after then, it was the turn for Advocate Zandile Mshulolo. who came and raised up something also very important by first start attacking the state advocate George Baloy. She said, first of all, we're supposed to be communicating, and we don't need surprise. And I understand her very well, guys. Why she have to say so? Because this is the same advocate who did make this court being postponed for about 2 to 3 months, because they had tried to introduce a second docket, which, according to her, she was not aware about it. And she told the court that, look, I need all my time. I need to go through this docket and try to understand, because my customer name is involved in all this. So no one should not come and try to impose to me or telling me what I should do or what time do I need, because I was surprised. So therefore, I need all my time. And that application, it was submitted to the court, and the court granted her that opportunity. And the court, this Senzo Meyiwa trial, it was postponed. So today, she had again to remind the court that, no, look, the state advocate is saying that he was also surprised yesterday in the late hours that this is what the new witness is requiring in order for them to testify inside the court. But she said, okay, even if that is the case, why did you not even try to communicate with us through the emails?
Which ought to have been discussed at a pre-trial conference stage before we started with this trial. My Lord, procedurally, it is the duty of the state to consult with all the witnesses, state witnesses, before the trial starts, in order to ascertain issues like of this nature that we are facing today.
Yes.
My Lord, we ought to have been informed by the state at the beginning of this trial, after realizing that the media has been allowed to broadcast these proceedings, that yes, the state does not object the broadcasting of media, but on conditions of the following witnesses who might be affected by this.
Can you really say that? Because Advocate Baloy said it clearly that last night he received an email or whatever he received.
My Lord, I'm still coming there. I'm just stating the procedure, what ought to have been done by the state at the beginning. That ought to have been canvassed with all the witnesses, my Lord, who will be adversely affected by the broadcasting, so that this court will know that there are exceptions to other state witnesses like this one, and maybe other witnesses, if there are any, we don't know. We have not been informed. We ought to have been informed that this broadcasting is accepted but subject or with the exceptions to the following witnesses. Coming to this case, my Lord, yes, I agree, my Lord, that the state has indicated that they were only informed last night. Why only yesterday? Why only on the last hour? Because during trial preparation, the state ought to have been informed of this objection.
Yes?
Secondly, my Lord, after the state had known or had been informed of this application, we were never informed as the affected parties. Via the email, my Lord, the state had the whole night to prepare this application. And we are now being ambushed by the state to read and prepare our responses, wherein were negatively affected by the application. That is unfair, my lord.
Now that she was done with the state advocate George Baloyi, who had introduced this application to the court, Advocate Zandile Mchilolo, she had to come and tell the court something that the court was not even aware about. I believe even all of us actually were not aware about it. How a life as the defense attorney or lawyer have been exposed, and she never come to the court and try to make it as a problem. She came to tell the court how danger she is from the moment when a face, a audio is being virtual inside the court. So a mission here, guys, she want to pass a message to the court. But before I get to comment more, let us first listen to what Advocate Zandile Mchilolo had said.
Secondly, my lord, coming to the reasons stated by this special witness, who says because of a personal safety.
Is that a designation, special witness?
Oh, my lord.
I don't want us to use this process to ridicule anyone.
My lord, can I just withdraw that? Can I just withdraw that?
Yes.
Thank you, my lord. He says he's bringing this application for her personal safety.
Yes.
Our lives, my lord, I mean the court officials, by our court officials, accused persons,
Yes.
all our safety has been compromised by the broadcasting, my lord. But we have allowed it to proceed because we were respecting the court order, my lord. And we also understood that the freedom of expression also allows the media to broadcast the proceedings. And the second point, my lord, that has been raised by the state is the concern about the public comments and public opinions, whatever that is, will be raised or can be raised after her testimony, comparing her testimony with other witnesses and so forth, as it has been stated by the state, my lord.
Yes.
That has got no adverse effect to this court. This court is not bound, my lord, by the public opinions, by public comments, by public critics, my lord, of any sort. This court, when deciding or when deciding on this matter, will be bound by the evidence presented before this honorable court. In other words, my lord, it will have no adverse inference to this court if her evidence is broadcasted as we have been doing. Secondly, my lord, the issue of safety, I myself, as the defense counsel for accused number 5, had been posted on Instagram and all social medias by the same witness, my lord. And I will ask this court to adjourn right now so that I print all the statements that this witness has made about myself, my lord.
Is that on point? Is that on point here?
It's part of my address, my lord, because the issue of personal safety has been raised, my lord, by the state. So I'm saying, my lord, if we were to consider the personal safety of this witness in isolation, what about the personal safety of other people including myself. And I cannot make those submissions without presenting those pictures before this court as a self-evidence, my Lord, that my safety also as well has been compromised. But I'm proceeding with the trial. And I will be making submissions to ask this court not to consider that fact in isolation, but it must consider it in respect of all other people. The pressure as well, my Lord, that has been stated as another reason that broadcasting will put pressure on her. What kind of pressure, my Lord? It has not been placed before this court. How? The extent of the pressure, the prejudice. In what way, in what sense will pressure? Because, my Lord, this is a person of a public figure. This is a person who is known by everyone. This is a person, my Lord, who has been posting herself on her pages of social media about this case. And then if today he's saying that he will encounter pressure or suffer pressure, in what way? That had to be placed before this court. This is not a person who is foreign to media language. He's a fan, instead, my Lord, of media usage. And then, further to that, my Lord, the issue of Netflix documentary, I know the court is not aware of that document, my Lord. But, my Lord, this is a document wherein this particular witness had participated to it, my Lord. And now today, she says she will suffer prejudice. And that document, my Lord, the Netflix documentary, is published, is circulated to everyone. She has testified, she has said a lot about this case, my Lord. And she never asked any limitations of maybe her face or visual not being recorded in that documentary that is being circulated, my Lord. Now, when we are dealing with a case, my Lord, wherein this court is supposed to listen to the evidence of each and every witness in order to decide on this matter. Netflix, my Lord, benefited and had no duty to make any decision. But this court, which is seized with such a crucial duties of determining as to who actually killed the deceased, then we are confronted with this application. My Lord, it is my submission that this court should not entertain that application.
That is Advocate Zandile Mushilolo. And for those who have been watching this court from the beginning, you'll tell that Advocate Zandile Mushilolo, she's the only advocate that remains on this court who have not had any issue or who have not been kicked out from this court. Because if this court it is where it is today, if we're talking about this court inside the Pretoria High Court, whether we like it or not, whether we like him or not, but it is all thanks to Advocate Malisela Tefo and the Titi Taban, who have really fought and they did everything in their power in order for this court to be inside. But unfortunately, things end up in the way we all saw on the TV. So, Advocate Zandile Mushilolo, she's the one who remain on it. And therefore, when these things is happening, after she had discussed about this again last year, she feel like, no, this is too much. This is like playing with people. So she have to tell the court that we can't talk about danger here. If we're talking about danger, all of us, we are in danger. All of us, we are in danger, including myself. Because my face is being out there. I'm the one who questioned all these people. I can also get hurt if someone is out there and want to hurt me. That was what she had to remind the court. But she even go far to tell the court that it's not all about how dangerous this witness she is. Because listening to her, she said it herself, through a lawyer, the state advocate. She said that, he said that she is a public figure. She's someone who's well known in the public. And we all know. So, when she said that, she wants to make the court to realize that there's no need for her to come and hide herself now. When she knows that everyone knows about her. So there's no need for her to come and try to hide a face, and she did not want to be revealed about what she'll be saying inside the court. I believe you two agree on what Zandile Mshilolo she has said inside the court. So that was something that, if you get to listen to her the way she was talking, it had these things. It had really, should I say, it had kind of like piss her off. Because remember, women, they don't tolerate each other. It's not easy for women to tolerate each other. Why I'm saying this? Look at all these advocates who took the platform to address the courts. The way they gave their point of view, the way they tried to discuss about it, starting with the state advocate to the 3 male advocates that you get to see inside the court. Take their arguments, compared to the one of Zandile Mshilolo, you will tell that she was not just addressing the court, but she was kind of trying to address the lady, the so-called lady in question. She was trying to address her straight away. And that is the reason why she had to go and remind the court that this same so-called, the witness who don't want to be shown on the camera, she's been busy out there on social media, giving interview on medias, posting on Instagram, twittering about it, and there, her life was not in danger. There it had nothing to do of insecurity or whatsoever. So what makes difference for her to come today inside this court and just be giving a witness through, trying to testify through the audios. And that is where she had to remind also the court that she was attacked on media of this same witness. She spoke about her. Obviously, it is about criticizing. I know, I remember, I was come across that post as well, whereby Zandile saying something on Instagram. Zandile saying something through a TV interview. A sister, Kelly Kumalo, talking about the same thing. Support, kind of like trying to support it through a Instagram page. So Zandile Mshilolo, apparently she had took all the proof in order for her to show to the court that, my lord, the person who's telling you that they can't do this because they are inside this court, see what they've been doing out there. See what they've been doing out there. And that is how they end up discussing to the point of like, okay, they should wait for the media representative advocate to come in and give also their point of the view, because this was concerning the virtual media. Later on, we saw the man he came, who was very harsh also in his words. He was very harsh in his word because he believed that what he did as his job last time, it was not taken serious. Therefore, he had to come for the second time and try to have conversation with this court.
Yes, my lord, I agree with you. We certainly have done things which we all wanted to turn away from later on. But insofar as your last point is concerned, I shall not dwell on Netflix or the interview on ENCA because the one thing it certainly shows is that she's not camera shy. That's the one thing it certainly does show, that the cameras don't bother her in any way. The reference was to social media was in a sense, in part, to do with that point, because what I'm saying is not what's going on from members of the media in court, but this particular witness, as scared as she might be, is actively tweeting now about these proceedings. So that was really the point I was making insofar as social media is concerned.
Okay.
But that was not all. The man, he had to go and tell the court some of the articles that will support, I was about to say his motion, but yeah, we can put it in that way because we are not legal analysis. So obviously, the guy, he came to tell the court some of the articles which were very important, that if this so-called witness, because they've been out there living their life, they've been out there enjoying themselves, posting, you know, taking selfies. They have social media accounts almost in all social medias platform. They have TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Everywhere you go, if you type their names, you'll find her. She's there. So what does it make different for her to show up inside the case? So the man went far by saying that, according to the law, if this witness does not comply with this, if they don't want to do this because they try to impose their conditions, and the court is not obliged to compromise its authority in order for them to protect these so-called individuals or to please them. And he told the court that the court only have the duty to protect them at a certain limit. And that is the reason why the court at first, they had asked the media not to show the face of every witness inside the court so far. And the media should not even take the pictures. At least the media can only benefit with audio and show the face of other public figures such as George Maumela, lawyers, whether it is the state lawyers or the defense lawyers. So now, with all that being said before the court, this man says that if this witness they don't want, then they can be dismissed. He says so.
My lord, now turning to some of the arguments as well as the quotes referred to by the state, the important thing is that, and it goes back to the open justice principle, members of the media can still report. The witness has been, will be identified. No objection to her being named. No objection to pictures of her even in the corridor, I understand.
Come again?
I understand that there's no objection to pictures of her even leaving court, insofar as I understand.
Yeah, somebody did say that. Yeah.
Correct. So there's nothing hidden about her being in court. Can't be any issues of safety. You know, she's saying, "Hi, here I am. You can photograph me leaving court. I've just given evidence. And if you want to read about my evidence, well, read about it in the newspapers." Also, as I said, the court is open to several hundred people, and I see there are quite a few people there, and they will have direct access to the evidence.
And taking a leaf from the past experience in this very case, to which both you and I and everybody else who was here is remain privy that whatever happens in the passages should stop short of the incident we had with Tumelo Madlala, who literally had to run as if for dear life through the passages with the media in hot pursuit.
My Lord, that incident made you as unhappy as it made me, having been in the media space for many, many years. And rest assured, I had my own words to say about that, and I think members of the media now understand the do's and don'ts and what they shouldn't do. So,
Okay.
so then turning to the grounds raised by my learned friend, the first is safety. I think we've dealt with it. Just to repeat, there's no evidence as to why this witness fears for her safety. If her voice, the evidence of her voice, an audio recording, is broadcast live, there needs to be such evidence in accordance with the principles of Van Breda. Principles of Van Breda say it cannot merely be conjecture. And by my learned friend merely saying that she fears for her life based on absolutely not a tittle of evidence is and can only be defined as mere conjecture. Secondly, the point that this puts pressure on her and makes her uncomfortable, again, mere conjecture. She hasn't said that she's going to be uncomfortable, and quite frankly, I think any evidence in that regard should be dismissed with the contempt it deserves. This is a woman who has gone out, made media statements, publicly spoken about the matter, whether on television or otherwise. She has done so without any form of discomfort. The statement that from the bar that she won't give evidence if proceedings are live, that can also be dismissed rather quickly. Nothing like a subpoena to get a witness to give evidence. My Lord, if this witness were to give evidence, why live broadcasting would hinder her testimony? Not only would she have to explain it, but she'd have to explain it in the context of the other witnesses and the manner in which they have given evidence. Mere suggestion of public scrutiny goes nowhere. By being in open court, with the court being full, she is subject to the same public scrutiny. By having her evidence reported on, what she says, she's open to the same public scrutiny. So the fact that she says that this may, there was a word which was used, this may make her uncomfortable, I think that carries no probative value at all. It'll unsettle her. Now, my Lord, I suppose turning to the crux of the argument, and I think it's the crux of the argument for everyone, and that is the legal position set out in Van Breda. And my learned friend referred to certain paragraphs. I would suggest the whole case is relevant, but in any event, I intend to refer to various other paragraphs. The reason I do so is that my learned friend left out certain crucial parts of the Van Breda decision. So I will turn to paragraph 61 of the Van Breda decision. Up of that paragraph is that one cannot have a rigid one-size-fits-all approach. And
ngeke sikwazi ukusho ukuthi sithi okwenzeka kuloyana nakuloyana ke kumele kwenzeke ngokufana futhi ke ilokho okuvezwe lapha.
I think I should quote this from paragraph 61. Moreover, the fact that witness X might be severely intimidated by having to testify on camera does not justify prohibiting broadcast of wide testimony who has not raised the same concern. And this is the important part. Nor would it, without more, justify prohibiting the audio broadcasts of witness X testimony. Such an approach does afford appropriate appreciation for the different types of witnesses who are testifying in the course of criminal proceedings, and they do mention lay witnesses.
Now, here's the thing. When this man says that they can be dismissed before the court, that's going to be a serious challenge now. If that happens, of course, it will be a serious challenge for the state advocate George Baloyi, because his argument, his evidence, they are all based on this witness. Though those witnesses, they are busy contradicting each other inside the court. So if one of them miss, then Judge Maumel is not going to have enough or solid evidence in front of him, because some of the witnesses are being dismissed. The judge or the court could not be able to hear from them. So that would be a very big defeat for Judge Maumela. But guys, here's the question I want to ask all of you. As I said earlier in the beginning, there are people who have come inside that court and give their testimony or testify in behalf of what Senzo Meyiwa or what had happened during that day. It was not a problem. So why is the state advocate George Baloyi insisting or supporting this idea of the witness who's about to come inside the court, she must not be caught by camera? Well, because she knows what she's doing. Last week, for those who watched Mtokozi's Twala, you will see that in his last two defense attorneys, advocate, I'm talking about Advocate Zandile Mshilolo and this other one, I forgot, the one before Zandile Mshilolo, they had cornered Mr. Twala with their questions, and they had proven to the court that there is a serious contradictions in what Mtokozi's Twala had said, whether it is through his first statement, whether it is through his second statement, including even what he said inside the court from different defense advocates. What he said from this corner is not what he said from other side of the corner. So there were serious contradictions, which we can't say much or judge either, but we just hope that Judge Maumela, when his turn comes for him to give his final judgment, will have to consider all this part. So obviously that will leave the state advocate without no other choice than to try to see on how we can catch up, how we can try to cover of everything that's been happening. And then him perhaps not allowing this case to be shown to the on the media, it will work in his advantage, because when Mtokozi's Twala was messing up last week, when they asked him a question to know, how did you know about this? His answer was, no, I heard it from Tumelo Madlala. And the defense advocate had to ask him a question. So, which means you've been seeing Tumelo Madlala and you guys have been having a chat. He denied, he said, no, it's not like we sit down, me and him, and talk about it. But I overseen it, I saw it on the TV. So, obviously, that is the fear of George Baloyi. He kind of like, you already go through the statement of this witness, and you know already that she's not going to survive on this part here. So before she got crucified by the defending attorneys, advocates, I should perhaps request or support a motion. I keep on saying motion. I feel like we're in parliament. Yeah, guys, please try to understand us on that part. So he kind of like trying to support this request from the witness for this case broadcast to be not televised. So because he knows already that his clients or people that he's representing inside the court, they have messed up somewhere there. So now, why did the defense attorneys, advocate, all of them, why did them stand against this? Well, this is where now I come in with my point of view, as we always giving you analysis time to time. So I hope if you're still watching this video until now, it's because you find something very interesting. Make sure that you hit that like button, okay? If you have not subscribed, do subscribe right now. We'll really do appreciate. But in meantime also, guys, I'm encouraging you to comment down below. Tell us also what you think about this, because we are discussing. Maybe we're missing something, and maybe some information that you have. Please share it with us so that we can discuss it together as a family. But back to what I was saying. This advocate, the defense advocates, they have to stand against it because they can tell already, or they are aware that something is fishy in this case. Something is not adding up in this case. From day one, for those who always watch us time to time, we spoke about this. It's not that we were there when Senzo Meyiwa was killed. No. We get to analyze things which is been said in media, whether it is by the police who had investigated for this case, whether it is by people who were in that house as the eyewitnesses, whether it is by neighbors, everyone, when they get to comment about this case, that is when we have also something to say. So we get to listen and try to see, is everything's being okay? Is everything's looking fine here? Because if everything was fine, what's the law saying about this? So we get to see and see that no, something's not adding up here. So thanks to God, I have feelings that even the advocates, starting with Advocate Zandile Mushlolo, she's now well aware that this is not just a simple case. Because it is in this same case where we get to see they make disappear of the second docket. Do you guys still remember it? The one which was written by Advocate Marcela Tefo back in days, last year. They make it disappear. Advocate Marcela Tefo asking for a trial within a trial. They reject it by Judge Maumela. And the only things they could say was that there will be another court aside after this one. I don't know if you are following me. So in this docket, there were some names which was mentioned there. And these people, or the people who have these names, are people who were in that house. Kelly Kumalo, a mother, a sister's boyfriend, and Senzo Meyiwa two friends. These people, they're supposed also to be arrested as suspects according to this docket. They're all supposed to be sitting inside that court. So we're supposed to be having about 12 people to 13 people, if I count it correctly. Mathematics. Yeah. So these people, they're supposed to be sitting also inside the court and not witness. But that did not happen, while this docket does exist. So these people that are being introduced inside the court as witness, not suspects. Which means their side of story so far, looking how things are sitting, their side of stories is what is allowed inside the court, and not on other side around. So guys, the defense advocates, they had to stand against it because they need the presence of media to be there, so that everyone will get to see, because they are also up to something. Remember, when all this started, all those accused who are inside that court, they were only having, all of them in total, they were only having like 3 lawyers, 2 actually, who were representing them. But look at now, how many of advocates do you get to see there? 4 of them. 4. Which means they are up to something. They want to reveal the truth of what has been happening inside that court. Now guys, I have something, the whole day I've been thinking about this. And I have a question which I want to ask to everyone who's watching this video. Guys, what will Kelly Khumalo, a sister, a mother, I'm just mentioning their names like that because they say the person who requested to be not shown by the TV, she is a lady. So we are not 100% sure whether it is Kelly Khumalo, a sister or a mother. We're not too sure. But the truth is that listening to what is being said inside that court today about their social media and everyone, I don't have doubt that this person is not anyone else rather than Kelly Khumalo. I see some people thinking that maybe it's the sister and everything, but me, I still doubt. I strongly believe that it is Kelly Khumalo. So, my question here was to know, what will she have to lose from all this if it is her? Let's just put it in that way. If it is her, what will she have to lose from all this? Because we get to listen that she's a public figure, and that is true. She is a public figure. She's been posting, guys, about this case. Do you guys still remember this video that went viral of her having new bodyguards who were busy looking after her? Whereby everyone had to ask a question, who's after Kelly Khumalo? For what reason? She have to go and hire all this kind of bodyguard. It's like really? Guys, if it is her who's asking the court to do this, for me, on my point of view, I think instead of her being loved by people, she's actually asking people, including her own fans, to hate her. Yes, because now this will even raise the rumors even to the high level, because the rumors already be there, whereby no, it was an accident, oh no, they were fighting, blah blah blah, and then here comes Kelly, or the bullet went off by mistake, it was an accident. Those are the rumors which are in the table. Last year I made a video, I said to you, with all this being said, if Kelly Khumalo believed that no, they don't have nothing to do, her with her sister and her mother and everyone, it is very simple. Come inside the court. Tell us what you know. The court will decide. And this same Kelly Khumalo, how many times whenever she's being interviewed on social media, on media, she keep on saying that I can't wait for my day inside the court.
We have a problem in our country. And this is not just about Kelly Khumalo as the musician, but this is about an individual in the pits and darkest place of wherever it is, where they lose loved ones and justice is not served. And I once said something about this in my Instagram page, and to my surprise I had a lot of people who were saying, Kelly, we support and agree with you, because we are some of the South African citizens that have been robbed of justice in this country simply because for some reason the law is not playing the part that is supposed to play. And that's what every South African is going through right now, Slee.
I think for Kelu Khumalo, she's somebody who, she strikes me as somebody who wants to own her story. She strikes me as somebody who has something to say. And I think because of the legalities around what she can and cannot say, the possibility of her being a state witness, being called to the stand, the matter being sub judice, there's only so much that she can say. But I think she wanted really to show South Africans that she does want her day in court. We've heard her lawyer say it multiple times. But I think for me, hearing it from her, coming from her for the first time, I think was her sending a message that I'm ready to actually either be in the witness box, be in the dock, to face anything around this particular matter. It's been 8 years in the making. It's something that I think hangs over her family, and she just wants some finality, I would think, in terms of this matter, and, you know, to clear her name.
So it is more obvious that we're dealing with someone who knows their personality in this country, who knows their place. Even when they talk, you get to see that they're more comfortable, more relaxed, with all the pride. With all the pride. So what happened today? What changed today? Where is this fear coming from? Because I always say, if there is someone out there, or should I say, if there were someone out there who want to hate these ladies, or anyone who was inside that house that day, they would have done so long time ago. Long time ago. They would have even tried to eliminate each other. But that is not the case. These people that are walking free on the streets, they attend events. Some of them, they go live on their social medias. And no one never ever attacked them. What about the Senzo Meyiwa family, which is supposed to have even a revenge? They have not done something like that. They never even had something to comment much about what is happening. Instead, it is the public who have been talking in their behalf. And us also, on our side, we've been just saying that, let us be fair here. They always said that justice delay is justice denied. Therefore, we should at least think of Senzo Meyiwa's family, including his children. They are growing up. They are growing up. This case did not start today. So, before it's too late for this kid to come and start having that hatred about our justice system and everything, they should know at least what had really happened. Besides that, we should also consider people who are being accused and suspected in that this case trial. They say you are innocent until you are being proven guilty. And so far, I can't come and sit here and say that no, because some of these men who are inside the court, they were accused or they were criminal, which means they are the one who have killed Senzo Meyiwa. No. Not me, not even people who have went inside that court to testify, who have come with a solid evidence to prove to us that no, these people are the one who had killed Senzo Meyiwa. Because we all saw how people, whether it is Tumelo Matlala who had pointed finger on someone inside the court, whether it is Mtokozis Twala, no one could not prove or show us something that shows that, okay, these are the men who had killed Senzo Meyiwa. Tumelo Madrala is coming inside the court. Mtokozis Twala is coming inside the court. He could not even be able to tell us what Tumelo Madrala has said inside the court, whether it is true or not. The whole thing is just a mess. Yet, we still have a family who they are crying day and night. They want to know what had happened to their son, to their uncle, to their brother, to their cousin, to their husband. They are crying. Every time when it is the Senzo Meyiwa birthday, or maybe when it is the Senzo Meyiwa birth anniversary, something like that. Maybe me and you, we might be sitting somewhere relaxing. But what about his family? They'll have to go and start thinking like, okay, Senzo was killed on this day. But why are we still don't know who had killed Senzo Meyiwa? That is where the problem is. So I believe this drama that we get to see here, guys, as I always tell you, this is not the first drama and it's not going to be the last drama. As long as we're watching this case more closely, we must be prepared for this kind of things. Yes, today, this court was adjourned last week so that today we'll have a new witness. But they already postponed it for tomorrow. And tomorrow, it's for them to come and debate over the same problem. Maybe, just maybe, they'll finalize the whole things on Wednesday. Unless if there's other surprise. That will be 3 days out of 5 days that these people work. First of all, they are coming to this court very late. Very late. The court is starting at 10. Then I'm like, wow, some people are having a very nice job out there. Whether we like it or not, some people are having a very nice job out there. When some of us who are waking up, leaving our bed 4, 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, we must be there by a train station or taxi rank for you to go to your work. Some people that are still snoring in their bed by that time, sleeping, serious sleep. And when they wake up, maybe they'll be waking up around 9 and they're doing fine. They have to go around 10. That is when the court's starting. And if you notice, all of them, they love, how do you call this? Tea break. Yes, that's the word I was looking for. Tea break, they love it. Whoever is having the platform at that moment, they'll go in maybe up past 10 or 11. After maybe 15 or 25 minutes, oh my Lord, I think it's about time for tea break. Huh? This is another problem, guys. Because you can just tell that it's like they're enjoying. They're just enjoying. Like they want this case to take as long as it can. So that them they'll benefit. Because every time they appear inside that court, it's money they're making. It's money they're making. And this money, they're not going to be sharing it with Senzo Meyiwa's family. That's where's the problem. So we must not just be like, no, because it is Kelikumal or Longotwala or whoever will say something about this and we need to pay attention to it. No, these things involve even the people, starting with the judge himself, going down. Too much postponement. Every something small postponement. Look, I don't know much about law, but yes, that's just something else I'm telling you. And if this continues like this, we must be prepared, guys. We must be prepared because this journey is going to be very, very, very long. Too much of dramas will always be there. And at the end of the day, you'll be surprised what will be the judgment on this court. Thank you so much for taking your time to watch this video up to now. I really do appreciate, guys. Look, I was not much prepared for me to come live today, but because of what happened inside the court about this matter, then I feel like, no, look, I need to come to talk to my people. We need to have a conversation. We need to get to understand what is happening on. We need to see who's telling the truth and who's lying, and why are we seeing all these dramas now that this one is ongoing like this? We don't know what will be the next drama. So you deserve to know the truth. You deserve also to be informed. Feel free to tell us also what you think about the whole scenario that took place inside Pretoria High Court today. We'll really do appreciate that. But for now, continue to be yourself, be good, be kind. Have respect for everyone in order for you to be respected. May God bless you all. I'll see you again very soon. Ciao, ciao.